Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on, my guy?
What's good, my brother? How you feeling? How you doing?
Man, it's a beautiful day, man. I'm blessed, happy to be here. You know what I mean? This has been long overdue.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to kick it with us, man, and just chop it up. Um, for those of for those people that don't know who you are, you want to give an introduction for the people?
Still capo, you know what I'm saying? Been doing my thing in the travel space for a while. Not really like documenting, but just traveling the world. My mom was in the military, so I've been doing the world travel, seeing all the random countries and all that for the last 30 plus years, you know what I mean?
Oh, real quick, I'm gonna interrupt your video real quick. I want to tell y'all about something. It's a new social network. It's called Passport Traveler. All right, there's a website. I'm gonna link it. There's an app. I'm gonna link it. You can go to passporttraveler.com. Now, the social network was built for like-minded people, travelers that's traveling international, DR, Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica, Panama, whatever. The list goes on. Wherever you go in Thailand. You want to get in the community, you want to post your videos, your pictures, and you want to connect with like-minded people. There's also ways you can earn money within the community. You don't need to be a content creator. You could just be someone that's just looking to build with like-minded people, with travelers. Maybe you just want to share travel stories, pictures, videos. Get in the community, all right? This video right here, sponsored by Passport Traveler. All right, so jump in there, link in the bio, and let's build, man. Let's build. Back to the video.
So I definitely am not new to, what I'm saying, the travel space, but just, been more so in the Colombia, Colombia with Capo was my brand. So was building that in Colombia, Medellin for the last 4 years. So those that know what happened with that situation. I'm sure we'll get into all of that, but everybody just knows me as Capo, man. If you want to know more, go to the Instagram at Chill Capo and do your research.
Facts. That I
The
know you
boy
do.
speaking facts, man. That boy speaking facts. People don't like the reality when it all comes on. Like, I guess, sometimes I can sound how I sound in my videos because I'm speaking from a place of frustration of how many times I see the same people being victims of being drugged and robbed in Colombia. And I feel like that narrative is so corny. But
Right.
then you hear about somebody getting drugged and robbed, and then it's like, bro, there's a million videos telling you how they do it every time. It's not even like it's a different script. It's literally copy and paste the same scenario 98% of the time.
Facts.
And just me, when I'm going somewhere for the first time, I'm going to research and figure out everything that I can before I go to wherever I'm traveling to, because I want to know what's going on. What's the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly? What's the reality? And
Facts.
my goal at the end of the day was to give people the most blunt version of the reality, because a lot of people try to make it like bubblegum and PG-13 sounding. And, hey, you guys just got to be careful and don't use Tinder. And nah. If you jump on these apps, you're gonna die. Like, I'm trying to make it as blunt and direct as possible, so the people that need it can hear it and consume it and take it seriously. When I say, "Yo, this is really happening," people are really getting, you know what I'm saying, ended up unalived in a hotel room in a sketchy part of the city because they went against every code. You know what I mean? They on the social media apps, the dating apps, crazy. They want to be cheap and get a little $40 a night spot with no security. They want to stay in Bayo or the wrong parts of the city. You know what I mean? Itagüí. When you look at where these people are getting drugged, it's always in an area of the city, 9 times out of 10, where the tourists don't even be at. You know what I mean? So what are you doing over there trying to get a $30 hostel a night or whatever, trying to be cheap? And then you try to get a cheap girl off the internet, and then next thing you know, boom. You know what I mean? It's the same formula every time, literally.
That's yeah. It's unfortunate. It's always a similar story when these guys get robbed, and it is sad. I always say maybe these cats don't really be online like that, but I don't know if I'm giving them too much credit.
No, they're the ones. They're the ones watching all the content. You know what I'm saying? Who's watching our videos? Who's watching your videos? Who they're online. People are online, especially when it comes to those select locations. Everybody wants to know those select locations. What's going on in Brazil? What's going on in Thailand? What's going on
Facts.
in DR? What's going on in Colombia? Everybody wants to know about those specific spots
Facts.
exactly, and everybody knows what happens in those spots. We're all grown men. We know looking for when we
Facts.
going out there. We know the vibe. So there's a lot of influencers. There's a lot of different people in the space that are giving games. Some are helpful, some are not. Some are, you know what I mean? Everybody's different. Everybody has their way of doing their thing with the content. And, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying, makes sense to the viewer, depending on what they're looking for, they'll find that. So for me, I found that I was getting all the scumbags, all the passport bros, all the, you know what I mean? Because the whole hungers, that's just what it is. Like when you come to Medellin, you're not coming to Medellin to go to Guadalupe. You're not coming to Medellin to try the paisa food and all that. You know what I mean? You're not coming for none of that. You're coming
Right.
for one thing and one thing only, and they know that, and that's why there's such a growing hate and a growing resentment towards male travelers coming to Medellin and Cartagena specifically, but primarily Medellin. You know, they got a lot of hate. They got a lot of hate in their blood right now, man. And it, you know,
It's
I
tough.
understand. I understand why to a certain degree. I understand why, but you know, they're also hypocritical because they're directly benefiting from that system that they're complaining about. Nobody is benefiting more financially from the sex industry than the Colombians in Medellin and the Medellin officials and people that run the city.
Right. Right. And we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that. Let me I just wanted to give the people kind of a gist of who you are, just in case. We won't get into all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But for anybody who just came to the building, we got special guest Chuck Capo in the building. And before we get into the juicy stuff, I do want to ask a little bit of your background before we get started. So, like, if you want to tell us, like, where you come from and how you grew up and stuff like that.
I was born in New Jersey, Willingboro, New Jersey, South Jersey. My mom was in the military. She was in the Air Force. So shout out to all the vets out there. I'm a military veteran as well. I served my time in the United States Air Force, and I also did 6 years as a civil servant contract in the United States Navy in Japan. So I worked both Air Force and Navy as a civilian and as a contractor. But grew up in pretty much everywhere that you can name. Like my mom, like I said, was in the military. So we went from, you know, Italy to Okinawa, Japan, to Portugal, to Panama, to Virginia, Texas, you know, VA, everywhere, New York, you know what I mean? So I bounced around a lot growing up. And then, like I said, once I joined the military after high school, I graduated high school in Italy. And after high school, I went
to Italy.
I went to high school in Aviano, Italy. It's like 30 minutes from Venice, Italy, northern Italy. So I spent 2 years in Italy. That was the best time of my life.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying, as a kid growing up, 17 years old, I'm in nightclubs, I'm doing my thing, kicking it with soccer players and, you know what I'm saying, all sorts of like models. And, you know what I mean? Like I got exposed to the reality of the world at 17 years old. Living in Italy, you know what I mean? Because I was always tall. I'm 6'3", so I was always on the taller side. So everywhere I went, they just assumed there is no real drinking age, but you just got to be at least 18. So I always looked at least 18 since I was 15. So just moving around, you know what I'm saying? It was easy overseas. It's like, as long as you can see over the counter, you good. So
dang.
You know I mean, that was like my beginning intro to like traveling and all of that. So I'm living in Italy. And then once I joined the military, I got stationed in Alaska. I hated it. I lived in Alaska for 3 years in Fairbanks. I've traveled around. I've seen the world before I was even 21 years old. You know what I mean? So that's really like my background as far as, you know, just being in the travel space and just, you know, just knowing how to move. Because a lot of people, they like to assume about my situation that Colombia was the first place I ever lived overseas or my first time being overseas. And it's like, bro, you really have no idea what you're talking about. I'm on my 5th passport.
Dang. Yeah. So you've been doing this,
Fifth
man.
passport. Like I've been there, done that. I've seen about a good 25% of the world. Like I've been doing this. I just at that moment in my life, that time period was the Colombia period of my life. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Panama or the Italy or the Japan or the wherever other places that I live, Portugal. That was just that moment in time. So, that's where a lot of people who didn't know me before from living in Las Vegas, because I moved to Colombia from Las Vegas. So I own an Instagram account, Las Vegas Scoop. So that was a big media page that I built up during the pandemic, gained thousands of followers off that.
Nice.
And then, kind of took that idea and concept and created Unseen Medellin, which is the 2 pages that I run on social media, and a lot of my content and everything goes to those 2 places.
Fire. So at what age were you when you first joined the military?
I was 18.
Okay, so you went straight in there.
I came in the military in 2003. So right after September 11 happened my senior year of high school. You know what I'm saying? So all of that was going on. I didn't know what I wanted to do with life at that point in time anyway. And, it was a crazy time to join the military. That was probably the worst time ever to join the military. But, mama ain't raised no bitch. You know what I'm saying? I was like, she's in the military doing her thing. If my mama can do it, I could do it. I ain't no hoe. So joined the military, dove in head first, Iraq, all that good shit. You know what I mean? Like, because at that point, the patriotism level in me was crazy high, because it's like, damn, they just came and did that to us. You know what I mean? Like I was mad, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to jump in. But even though Air Force, we don't really get involved with the fighting and all that like the Marines and the Army do. But, I just wanted to do my thing, do my part, and contribute, you know what I'm saying? Do my thing for my country.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I'm saying? I served my time.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service, brother.
Appreciate it.
So you've been traveling based off of military experience and stuff like that. Outside of military and outside of your parents being in the military, when was the first time you went on like your own vacation just to be like, yo, son, I'm finna go just do a vacation?
We used to travel all over the place. And I kept the traveling going. I never stopped. I never really stopped. Even when I was in the military, I was doing little side missions, going to Slovenia. I met my ex-wife in Tokyo, but she was Romanian. So I ended up in Romania. I took a couple of trips to Romania, Bucharest, Pitești. You know what I'm saying? I was out there.
You've been moving. I
hit a lot of random, bro. Trust me. I done hit a lot of random spots on the map. I done did it, like I said, I'm not new to this travel. Been in them places where you be like, what? Like, you been where? Like, for what? You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with military or.
Out of all the places you've been, give me your top 3. Give me your top 3.
Overall?
Yeah, just overall. Anywhere in the world.
My top 3 spots. Colombia is definitely in the top 3. Even though I'm mad at them, I'm not going to act like I don't rock with it. I definitely rock with Colombia tough. Colombia would be number 1. The Philippines would probably be number 2. I really liked the Philippines. I was vibing. I had a good vibe out there. I liked it a lot in the Philippines. And number 3 would be Greece. Greece was fire. Okay. Greece was fire. Santa Marini and Athens. I was out there for a couple of weeks. I actually did my wedding in Santorini. You know what I'm saying? So I had like the big bossed up wedding on the side of a mountain and all that. Like, it was some players. I've been divorced for almost 10 years, but my wedding in Greece was some shit, straight out of a fantasy book. You know what I mean? Like, during that time while we was doing that, like, Greece definitely impressed me. I definitely want to get back to that side of the world for sure.
That's fire. And during all this time, what were you doing for work, if you don't mind me asking? I know you was in the military, but what were you doing in there?
I was an IT troop when I was in the military. So, IT tech, fixing computers, laptops, printers, a colonel, a general, or somebody, doesn't know how to use their email or whatever, they used to call me. and
Fire.
come to me. And then when I went to Japan, when I was working in Tokyo with the Navy, I was doing the same thing. I was a help desk system admin. So just, locked out of your account, your printer's not working, something, if I could fix the problem remotely, then that's what I was doing. And I was working for a government contract called CSC, Computer Science Corporation, in
That's fire.
Yokosuka. So it was like an hour south of Tokyo, but I lived in Japan for 4 years. That run, and then I also went to middle school and elementary school in Japan as well.
Oh, fire, fire.